All right, guys. So the topic today, what we're going to get into is ethics, and what we're going to talk about is really the what you can say is the code of ethics. And then everybody on this call, most companies that you deal with have a code of ethics. In other words, they have a code of ethics of how clients are supposed to be treated, how employees are supposed to be treated. But you really need to have your own personal code of ethics. And that's really just, it's going out and it's doing the right thing every single day. I was this morning and last night, I've been thinking about this, and Jimmy and I talked about this a few days ago that, we're going to have this topic about, about ethics. But I really truly believe is that your personal ethics is the heartbeat and is what drives your sales. And I'm going to give you some proven facts of how I know of being ethical and having integrity is going to create more sales. And you may be doing things like above board, like you're doing things right, but I'm going to point out some areas that 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 you can improve your sales, and you may be doing things that are, maybe I don't want to use the word unethical, but you're taking some shortcuts and you don't know it, but it's costing you sales. So first thing I want to talk about, and I don't have any slides for this, Jim and I are just going to be talking, we're going to be bouncing ideas off of each other. So Jimmy, at any time you want to bounce in, just go ahead and bounce in, okay?
Sure.
First couple of things I want to talk about, guys, is as far as doing the right thing is, and you've heard me say this a lot of times, is, man, when you're going out in life, whether it's with clients or you're dealing with a cashier at McDonald's, and just be kind, be a good person. At the end of the day, it's going to make you feel better. It doesn't cost you a penny. It doesn't cost you a penny to be nice to somebody, but maybe you can make somebody else feel like $1 million because you were nice to them. And at the end of the day, it's going to make you feel better about yourself if you're just a good person and you're nice to people and you smile. Be respectful. We could do a whole seminar about being respectful. And when I'm talking about being respectful, man, I'm talking about, when you're going in to see clients, have the utmost respect for them. You don't know what they've been through. You've never walked a mile in their shoes. You don't know what their life is like. So when you pull up to that house and it looks like it's falling apart, and maybe they got a blue tarp over the roof and the weeds are growing up all over the place, don't judge. Don't judge that person. Just be respectful. At the end of the day, remember, they mailed in a card. They need your help. I know I'm not going to mention any names, but I know there's agencies out there where agents text each other pictures of who went into the crappiest looking house. Guys, I know we go into crappy looking houses. I know it. But we don't need to make fun of the clients. That's not right. You just got to be respectful, man. Be polite. Have some, I'm sure when you were a kid, your parents told you to have good manners. Just have good manners with people. I'm telling you, it will go a long way. Being courteous, having morals, man, having high integrity or high morals of integrity. That's what you need to do. And we got to treat clients in a fair, open, and honest manner. In other words, here's what I always say, Jimmy, is you treat your clients the same way you'd want your parents or your grandparents to be treated. And that's with respect and dignity is important. Respect the needs of the client Don't respect your needs. Your needs are irrelevant. Respect the needs of your clients. One that you hear me say a lot, is don't be selfish. Like here's what I mean about being selfish. And one of my pet peeves is when an agent calls me and they are talking about, well, I don't want to drive all the way over there, or this person, they're not in good health. I'll just be wasting my time. That's the wrong thing to say, guys. I never want to hear anybody say, well, I'll be wasting my time. That's being selfish. Your job is not to prejudge these clients and determine who's going to buy and who's not going to buy. Our job, we got one job, and that's to go make a proper presentation from A to Z. Here's what I can tell you. Every client that filled out that lead card has a right to get a full and proper presentation without any shortcuts. And here's what I mean about being respectful. And here's something that could be costing you sales and you don't even know it. And that's when you're meeting with a client, and in the back of your head, you're saying to yourself, this person ain't got no money. Look at their house. The house is horrible. They don't clean it. They're pack rats. You got all this stuff going through your head, and then you don't even make a full presentation. You know what you do? You start asking them, so Mr. and Mrs. Client, let me ask you a question. I'm assuming you guys have a bank account, right? You start trying to pre-qualify them ahead of time. Why? Because you're selfish and you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't want to waste my time here. And then they tell you, well, yeah, I got a bank account. So you go along with your presentation, and you know what they tell you at the end? Oh, let me think about it. You know why? It's because you offended them. Assume everybody has a bank account. Jimmy, how long does it take to do a full presentation?
Maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Exactly. So really, your client doesn't deserve to get a full presentation. And at the end, if they don't have a bank account, so what? Love on them. I'm just telling you, man, you love on your clients, and I can't even count on my fingers how many people have figured it out, because I did such an awesome presentation and I built so much value that they figured it out. Well, you know what? I can get my daughter to pay for it. My daughter has a bank account, or so and they figure it out, or they go get a bank account. Jimmy, I know you've done this. Haven't you taken clients to the bank to open up a bank account?
You bet.
Yeah, man, we figured it out. But if you start pre-qualifying them hard in the beginning about the money, you don't know. You offend them. And then you get, well, let me think about it, Joe. And here's the other thing too. What about referrals? You think that person's going to give you referrals? Because they're thinking to themselves, well,
Are you there, Joe?
they'll figure the money out. You know what? And at the end of the day, it's 15, 20 minutes. That's all it takes to go through the bonding report, go through the free stuff. But I'm just telling you, the better you do that in-home presentation, the more value you bring, the more likely they are to figure out the money part. I'm hoping that's making sense to everybody, man. You got to be a giver. You
Hey,
got to
Joe, can I
give.
jump in here?
Absolutely. Jump in, baby.
So, you know, you have to have the heart to really want to do what's best for your client. And I don't know if that could be taught, but I will tell you this, maybe you have it in you, you just didn't know that you should do that. And so I'll give you a few examples. I go over and above, I'm going to say, the scope of doing a presentation and stuff. I do whatever it needs to help my client out. And I'll give you a couple examples. I had a lady, um, she wanted she wanted to get insurance coverage. She was in a situation where she was having some issues with her bank account. She wanted to buy the policy, but she wasn't ready to fill out the bank draft form because she had so many overdrafts that she didn't want to create an additional problem, right? It was a legitimate reason for not doing it right now. So I probed, well, what caused all this? She says, well, I was buying stuff on gosh, I can't think of it. It's that TV show that people watch and they
QVC.
QVC, there you go. I was buying stuff on
My clients
QVC.
do the same thing, Jimmy. They love QVC, man.
And so QVC has like this little kind of like scam, I think. It's a promotion, but they're like, okay, well, this product, you want these shirts or these clothes, you don't have to buy it all up front. Well, you pay a little bit now, and then we're going to put you on a payment plan. And then like they give them all these extensions, and it gets real confusing because they got so many purchases. So what was happening was QVC was just hitting her bank account like freaking every other day. And if the money wasn't there, they were just kept hitting it, hitting it, hitting it. And I was looking at her bank statement. She had like, I'm going to say like $800 in overdraft fees.
Oh my
And
God.
I mean, it was a mess, right? And so I said, let's go see if we can clear this up with your bank. I put her in my car. We went to her bank, met with one of the bankers, sat down, like it took a while. I mean, like we had to sort through it. The bank had to get on the phone. They called QVC. There was a special department. The bank says like they see this quite often, right? They already knew who to talk to. And I would say I was there about an hour and a half, right? Like bored out of my mind, but I was doing this for her to help her. It wasn't so much that I wanted to make the sell. Like here's a senior that her only source of income is Social Security. And with an $800 negative balance, and her Social Security, I think, was $1,200, she was only going to have $400 for the whole month to live off of, right? So I was really just trying to help her out. She didn't have nobody else to help her out. She didn't have a car. So how was she going to get to the bank? She had called them. It was getting frustrating to handle over the phone. So we got it taken care of. Then I said, let's go eat. I took her to go get something to eat. We came back to the house. We got everything all resolved. And then I just simply asked her, I know you've had a long day. Are you okay with moving forward, or do you want to just set up another time? I didn't even put pressure on her. She goes, why don't you come back next Friday? Okay. I came back next Friday. She was so happy. Everything had been resolved, and then she moved forward. I mean, that's doing the right thing for the client. I wasn't like doing it just so I can make this. Oh, and Joe, I got to tell you, she didn't live anywhere near my house. So, I mean, it was a hump just to get there, you know? Um, that's one little example of doing the right thing for the client. I've had, other cases where maybe they didn't have a bank account, but then I asked them, well, why don't you have a bank account? Well, because I don't have anybody to take me to the bank. Oh, well, I can take you to the bank. Do you have, they're like, well, when can you go? Well, do you have time right now? I'm not booked to see anybody else till later this afternoon. I can take you right now. Go get dressed. And I'll take them to the bank and get them, to open their account. We'll move forward. I've had people, they do have a bank account and they don't know their account number. and they don't have statements handy, and they're sincere about it. And I don't let them off the hook and say, oh, okay, well, just call me later when you figure it out. I'll say, well, let's go to the bank and let's go get your information. And they'll say, okay. And if they're serious, Joe, they're going to say, okay. And they're going to get in the
Yep.
car and you're going to take them to the bank. But a lot of agents, they're like, I'm not going to do all of that. That's just too much hassle. I'm not going to go through all of that. And I look at it as I'm really helping this person put coverage in force because it's important to them. See, because if it wasn't important to them, then they'd come up with some other excuse. And then I realize they're just giving me an excuse. But if they're really serious and it's important to them, why not help them solve the problem? And that's another reason why you should door knock and not try to go doing preset appointments, because if you're door knocking, you got nowhere to go, like to be somewhere at a specific time. So why not just handle one case at a time, make sure it's completely resolved and satisfied, and then you can go on to your next door knock. But I got to tell you, it makes you feel really good at the end of the day knowing you helped a senior. I've had other customers had similar situations. She didn't have nobody to cut the grass. The grass is getting high. She had nobody to help her with her air conditioner. I had my uncle who does AC go out and fix somebody's AC, and I paid for it. I had cut somebody else's yard. I had somebody cut the yard for the lady. So I do little things like that because I really care about my clients. And sometimes they don't buy. It's not like I do it because I'm going to get this. I'll just do it to help that person out. But you have to have a heart for it, and just go ahead and do the right thing all the time. If you do the right thing, you're going to get taken care of. God's going to reward you.
Exactly. Doing the right thing and not worrying about yourself, man. That's what I mean about being selfish. If you're not going above and beyond, you're more worried about yourself than you are your clients. To me, you're selfish. Point blank. So just don't be that way. So let me do a quick sound check. Hey, Michael Mahalik, are you there?
I'm here, sir.
Hey, buddy. Give us some good words, man. What do you
I
think
am
about?
first and foremost, and guys, you probably know me, Joe and Jamie, listen to our competition where I'm on many webinars, and I want to take my hat off to both you and Jimmy. This is a subject out of the thousands of webinars I've listened to that has never been actually discussed. And it's ethics. A lot of times we hear of hardline tactics. As soon as you find out they don't qualify, you're out the door. Time's your most valuable asset, and that's just not true. As Jimmy was talking about biblical terms, and no matter whichever religion you are, you're always going to reap what you sow, but you're also going to reap more than you sow. And to sort of put it in business terms right here, first and foremost, this is a compassion, not commissions business. As we tell you many times, your job is not to go out and write business. Your prime directive as an agent is to give presentations. That's showing the compassion, because an educated client, as we all know, is a motivated client. And it really saves you a lot of the objections at the very end of the presentation, because most objections come from either no money, but even huge, bigger than that, no trust. So this is a compassion, not commissions business, and you've got to have a compassion for our demographic. If you have children, as we all do, they're not going to do anything for a long period of time that their heart's not into. You've got to have a heart for our demographic. And Joe, I think you put it so perfect. Think of these people as your parents and as your grandparents. How would you want someone to treat your parents? How would you want someone to treat your grandparents? And so you want to trim, for goodness sake, you want to trim that way. But also, ladies and gentlemen, there's some good results of that as well. When someone feels valued, you've heard the old saying, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. When they feel valued, when they have a personal relationship with you, that's going to cause that policy also to stay on the books. I know one of the biggest compliments a lot of agents get is they get to the very end and that person's just fallen in love with Jimmy Hernandez. But they get to the very end of the presentation, Jimmy, what company were you with again? They don't know the company. They've fallen in love with Jimmy Hernandez because he has built value. And that personal relationship is not only going to keep that policy on the books, that is going to cause a slew of referrals to come. Because people will refer, if you go to a good restaurant, Joe, you go to a good restaurant there in Naperville, you're going to tell your friends about it.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is still the most powerful advertising source out there. So when Jimmy shows compassion, not commissions, he takes that person to the bank. He helps them cut their grass. You better believe that person's going to tell everybody at their church, everybody at their Rotary Club, when they get together with relatives for Thanksgiving. And ladies and gentlemen, you reap what you sow, but more than you sow. Jimmy's going to get phone calls, down along with the fact that Jimmy's let him know he's an independent broker. He's not a one-trick pony, and he can basically has a product for many different needs. He's an independent broker and he designed a plan for anybody. So ladies and gentlemen, always remember, if nothing else, before you start this business, this is a compassion, not commissions business. And it begins with that passion, that compassion for our demographic, which are seniors and low middle income, just knowing that you shouldn't treat them any differently than you would want someone to treat your parents or your grandparents. So back to you, Joe. And again, Joe, take my hat off for you having this subject this morning, because this is the first time I've heard ethics discussed on an IMO's call. So I want to commend you.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, guys, we're going to wrap up. I've just got a few other things we want to get our guest speakers on. Just always be honest and truthful about the products that you're selling. That's part of being ethical. If you're selling a product that has a 2-year graded period, or if it's a modified plan, make sure your clients understand specifically how that works. If you're replacing a policy, make sure your clients understand the consequences of starting over in the 2-year contestability period. That's part of integrity. We're obligated. Be honest about those things. Never misrepresent a product. Never tell them it will do something that it won't do. Never misrepresent a product, a company, or yourself. Guys, if you're brand new, don't for 10 years when they ask you. Let them know that you're new. It's okay. Don't misrepresent. Chances are they may find out. And if they do find out, then you've lost all credibility. And just be a person of high character. We've heard the saying that people are going to do business with who they like, but more importantly, they're going to do business with people in which they like, but they trust. So they have to trust you in order to be able to do that, and be accountable for your actions. Just think, with every single sale that you do, if you went up before a board and you were asked questions, or if you were recorded, how about this one? Treat every presentation you make like you're being recorded by the FBI. How about them apples? Okay, that'll keep you honest and ethical, right? Just make sure you're doing the right thing every time. And for goodness sake, treat everybody like they got $1 million. Even if they're in a house that's not so desirable, treat them like they're a buyer. Treat them like they're worth $1 million. You know what? Even if you don't sell them, maybe you can make a friend. Maybe you can make that person's day because you made that client feel special. And you'll get some. And Mike, you brought up the point about getting referrals. How about doing this? How about once a week? How about just once a week? Your last appointment of the day. It's 5, 6 o'clock. You ask your clients if they've eaten yet. Order them a Domino's pizza. How about them apples? That'll be fun, wouldn't it? Why not? Say, hey folks, I know it's late. I'm probably cutting in your dinner time. Dinner's on me. Get your phone out, get the app, go to Domino's, order them a pizza or something. You know what I mean? Go above and beyond. Well, with that, let's see here. We got 15, 20 minutes. Let me get a couple of my guest speakers on. We wanted to interview a couple of new agents in the Dallas area. Let's do Tendai first. Tendai, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm right here.
All right, buddy. I may need you to speak up just a little bit.
All right.
Try one more time.
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay, I can hear you pretty good. You sound a little faded, but it's all right, man. Well, guys, Tendai is a guy that I wanted to get on the line because he's actually a part-time agent, okay? And actually, both of the guys, I'm getting on the line today have both started with us within the last month or so, part time, but they are doing more on a part time basis than a lot of our full time agents are, even though they're both working full time jobs. In other words, they're maximizing the limited time that they have. And that's what I always say, man. I don't care if you're doing it full time, part time, but just if you're doing it part time, maximize the time that you have. If you've only got 15 hours a week to put into this business, maximize the 15 hours that you're doing. But these guys are doing it right, man. They're attending the training. They're ordering leads on a regular basis. So Tende, what I want you to do, man, is just very quickly, introduce yourself and just, tell us um, what your experiences have been and, what type of success you're having. And if you're having any struggles, man, if you're having anything that you're having issues with, let us know, man. We can help you, and maybe we can do a little bit of coaching right here on the phone. So let me turn it over to you real quick.
Hi, everybody. I hope everyone has had a good week. My name is Tendai Gurupira, and I've recently started with Senior Solutions a few weeks ago, and so far it's going well for me. Um, Now, the way I got linked up with Senior Solutions is I had tried other agents, and I tried other agencies, and what I was looking for was an agency that had good leads, um, a good product, and support. I was looking for those three things in an agency, and I tried, and it didn't work out with other agency until I saw Joe and Jimmy on the internet, and so that's how I got with Senior Solutions, and I've been doing part time, and it's really working great. Um, I've been getting the leads that I was looking for, and the leads are right. They're just spot on. There are lots of times when I knock on the door and a client just tells me, "Yes, I filled this out. Let's do the paperwork." I've had a, I've had a couple of clients, do that for me. Uh, that goes to because I've been getting some good leads. And also, the second thing I was looking for was a good product. Um, the final expense product, there's a need because I'm running into people who were saying, I just buried my sister last week and it costed us $14,000. So the final expense product is a really really good product, and it's needed, and it gives you a sense of fulfillment, to know that you're actually making money, and at the same time you're helping other people um, with final expense issues. And the third thing I was looking for in an agency was support. Now I tried the other agencies, they have a sink or swim approach, and this was not so with Senior Solutions. Jimmy and Joe, they're right there, to help me. Even even while I'm stuck in a presentation, there have been many times where Joe has I put Joe on speakerphone, and he's actually helped me close a sale. Yeah. So right now I'm doing part time, but I'm now gonna start doing this full time because it's really working out good for me. Um, and it's just a matter of having the right attitude, uh, treating people right, um, and being a professional. Um, if you are ashamed of this job, it's not gonna work out for you. If you treat it like a professional and have a professional approach, um, your friends and relatives will respect what you do. Um, this past month, just doing part time, I've made $7,000 has gone into my bank account.
Wow,
Just
I did not know that, but that's awesome, man.
yeah,
Hey,
just
let me ask you a real quick question. Are you doing mainly um, what's your prospecting approach? Do you door knock clients or do you call and try to set preset appointments?
I do door knock. Um,
Door knocking only?
yes, I primarily do door knock, and when um, I've door knocked 3 times. Let's say I haven't found the client home. The third time is when I call them.
Okay. Are
Um,
you leaving delivery notices, door
yes,
tags?
the
Okay.
third time, the third time I leave a door tag because
Oh
I
no,
want to.
you should leave a door tag every time, buddy.
Yeah, I want to. I want to make an attempt to meet my clients in person.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I would rather have them tell me no in person than on the phone.
Hyundai
But
let me ask you a question. Is English your first language?
yes, English is my first language, but I speak a native language, Shana.
Which is from where? Where are you from originally?
From Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And then so when you door knock the leads, what do you say at the door? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we're not going to role play it, but I just want to get an idea of what it is that you're saying at the door, that you're getting in so many houses and how you made in a 30-day period doing it part-time is how you made 7 grand because uh, I see all the applications that you're putting in. I've helped you with a few of those applications, and also too, guys, I'll let Tunde answer this. How many times, maybe not a day, but how often are you calling me for help?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, like I said, I was looking for an agency with support, and I'm getting a lot of support from both Joe and Jimmy.
To the point, guys, and we talk about this all the time, man, is that if you need help, pick up the phone. It's a proven fact that agents that engage exceed or excel at a much higher rate. It's exponential, actually. Agents
Yeah,
that engage and that are in constant contact with their their agency manager succeed at a much higher rate than those agents that don't.
yeah.
But
Hey, Joe,
I just
I
yes,
want to I want to ask him a couple questions.
sure.
Hi, Tunde. So
Hi.
the first question I have for you, because I want everybody to hear this, is, and I don't know the answer, but here's the question: how many hours a week are you putting into this?
I put in about 30 hours a week.
30 hours a week,
Yeah.
and you working another job?
Yes, I do Uber and Lyft.
Uber and Lyft. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So you're putting about 30 hours a week and you made 7,000, or you had 7,000 deposited in your bank account.
Yeah.
How much did you spend on leads this month?
Uh, I spend on leads, I think about $2,000.
So you had a $5,000 profit
Yeah.
roughly at 30 hours a week, and
Yes.
you're doing another job. So is it easy to fit in all these hours, or is it a sacrifice for you? I mean, I'm assuming that you're having to sacrifice to work two jobs and you're giving 30 hours a week to this, but I mean, are you having to make a sacrifice?
Uh, what I do is I'm trying. There is some. I'm in a transition right now because I'm transitioning to full time selling final experience. But I
Okay,
utilize the time that I have to make the best use of it when I go and see a client.
awesome. And so, another question I have for you um, is it worth it? All the time that you're putting in and the door knocking, has it been worth it for you?
Yes, yes, yes. The figures don't lie. Um,
Amen, brother.
Well, hey,
Awesome.
let me just do this because I didn't know the numbers either. But Tunde, do you realize that selling insurance, that right currently doing it part time, that you're netting $166 an hour?
I didn't look at it that way.
Well, if you take the $5,000 that you netted divided by 30 hours, it's 166 bucks an hour. That ain't bad.
Yeah, I'm ready to go full time, Joe.
Let's do it, baby. I got some leads for you, brother. I just want to say this, man. I want to get Javier on the line. You're an inspiration. I admire you. I think you're doing an amazing job. I'm ready for you're doing everything right. Your transitioning is good. You're plugged in. You're attentive. You're respectful to your clients. And guys, by the way, Tende's the guy who wrote the two. There was two 10pays. He had clients that were in a prepaid funeral plan, and he was able to convert them to a Transamerica 10-pay, which means that their policies, their whole life policy, will be paid up in 10 years. One was $65 a month, and what was the other one? 70 bucks?
$72.
72. So here, you got 65 plus 72 equals 137 times 12. Guys, that's $1,600 on one appointment just for doing the right thing. So, man, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say, but I commend you. I respect you, and certainly I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 28th of October in
Yeah,
Dallas.
yeah. I just wanted to comment on what you had said at the beginning that getting ready to get ready. Um, the way I have made it is because I have the support from you, and Jimmy. So I knew that if, even though I didn't know all the material, uh, I was able to go to these appointments because I had the support. So this business of telling yourself that I need to be ready, uh, that time will never come. The time is now. Uh, we have the support that we need. So let's go out and sell. Uh,
Thank you. Hey, I want to say something real quick, and I know we're running out of time. I want to get Javier on too, but when I see 10-day call or I see Javier call, like I make extra effort to answer that call because I know that they're in the field and I know that they need help. Like I go out of my way. I can't always take it. Maybe I'm with the customer and I can't take the call, but like I really go out of my way to take the call to really help these guys.
Yeah,
And I
me
say
too.
that because I get a lot of agents that call me just to chew the fat, like just to tell me about like what you plan to do or what they want to do or what they haven't done or why they haven't done stuff. Like they're not calling me because they got a hot client in front of them. But I know when Tinde and Javier call, they got somebody. And guys, if you want me to make the extra effort to answer the phone, then you got to make the extra effort to get out there in the field and start hustling.
Absolutely. Well, Tunde, thank you for being on the call. You truly are an inspiration. I appreciate that. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you, sir. Javier, are you on?
Yeah, Joe, can you hear me well?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear. And we may go over a few minutes on this call, but we are getting this recorded. So, guys, Javier is another guy that started with us because he was looking to do something a little bit different. He's still working a high-level job, putting in a full-time job, full-time hours at at another job, but is still finding time to do this on a part-time basis and going out and writing. What are you doing per month, Javier? 5,000, 6,000 a month in sales?
Yeah, this week, to be just to full transparency, this month's been a little bit light on me just because I haven't had the time. But last month I was able to do about 5 or 6. So yeah, the opportunity's there, Joe. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, do us a favor, man. Just very quickly introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, and maybe what was your your reasoning for getting into or looking for something different.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on the call, Joe. No, I think the impetus for looking at at final expense just came across. I looked at it from the aspect of trying to find something that would afford me a little bit extra time to spend with the family and still make really good money, and also the option of potentially having passive income years to come. So there's just a lot of positives to the insurance industry, I guess you could say, and much like 10 days. And we've gone back and forth, and Tunde and I have talked every now and then as well. But I found Senior Solutions and Joe Johnson and Jimmy Hernandez through watching videos on the internet. So I after watching a number of YouTube videos, I'm like, I like what this guy Joe is saying. I'm going to give him a call and reach out to him. And yeah, it was great. It's been fantastic ever since then. The thing I can say that I think everybody needs to take to heart is invest in yourself. You have to sharpen your own saw. If you're not willing to do that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, in order to really be a student of the industry, then there's only so far you can go. You have to, there's a saying, when you stop learning, you stop earning. And that's definitely the case with insurance. When you come across situations that you're unfamiliar with, you write it down and you follow up. And, you ask the experts and you go back and say, hey, you know what? Wow, this is brand new to me. And I had no idea what I was doing. So I was kind of trying to wing it a little bit. But I'd love a little bit of insight. You have 20 minutes tomorrow. Maybe we can talk about this or that. And you and Jimmy have been great about being, exceptionally available to spend some time with me. And, there's a lot of good information out there. But besides investing in yourself, guys, you got to buy the leads. I've started a standing lead order with YIG now. So, that's obviously you got to put a little bit into that before you can see anything. But I think when they start coming in, I'm really excited about that because they're going to be in my neck of the woods. Right now, I'm benefiting from the generosity of trying to be able to buy some leads in Dallas County that are just, you don't have to wait on them. But with these coming in from Collin County, it's a little bit closer to where I am. So it's going to be a little bit easier drive for me, but it's costing a little bit up front. But again, that's me investing in myself. And last but not least, you got to freaking see the people. So
yeah,
I can buy.
What do you mean by that? When you say you got to freaking see the people, man, elaborate on that.
So go out and just knock on the doors. Go make calls. Jimmy had a great point when we were exiting the meeting last month, and he said, he's like, no, whether you know it or not, a lot of seniors are getting beaten up right now with the annual enrollment period with Medicare. So they're going out of their way not to answer the phone. So if that's going to be the case, the only other alternative to get in front of somebody is just to door knock the heck out of them. So kind of like Tunde, you have success by going out there and seeing the people. You can buy all the leads that you want in the world, but if you don't put them to good use, then why are you spending the money? Why are you spending the money? And then when you do get in front of the clients, I love the kind of the foundation of this conference call, because you have to have we call it PMA. You got to have a positive mental attitude at all times. So going out there and doing what's best for the client at the end of the day, even though it might not necessarily be good for you at that time. For example, I'm running an appointment today at 4:00, where this guest called me, or not this guest, excuse me. I keep saying that. This client called me back, and she said, you know what? I've talked to my husband about it some. We'd love to really go over some of these options with you and some of these plans. Do you have a little time on Friday? And it happens to be that I have time this afternoon to go say hi to him. But I had told him, back when I was like, look, there's no pressure. I'm not here to pressure you at all. You need to make the decision that's right for you and your family. And if that means you and me talk at another time, I completely understand. And, lo and behold, I got a call from them a couple of days ago, and they want to meet up. So there we go. I mean, I think I'm walking into this appointment here at 4:00 in Dallas with high hopes that I'm going to be able to help some family out. So that's pretty cool.
I'm sure you will, man. But it's here. I'm not going to say the company, but you're in the restaurant business, right?
Correct.
Okay. Correct me, and I've never been in the restaurant business, but I've eaten at a lot of restaurants. So I consider myself an expert. The number one thing as a consumer, how I would rate my experience at a restaurant, rate the restaurant, is based on my experience, like how I was treated. Like I look at that first, like were they attentive? How was the experience? I always rate that first, and then I rate the food second. I could go to a restaurant, man, the food may be really, really good, but if the service was crappy, chances are I probably won't go back, even though the food might have been really good. Do you find that is there's kind of a comparison in between the restaurant business and taking care, like if you treat people right, if you treat your patrons with respect and you're treating them right, you're more likely to get them back as a returning customer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and I've talked about this working with different restaurants, but there's a difference between an emotional transaction and something that's just basically, doing quick business, like going to get an oil change. I'm going to pay the guy $29. He's going to change my oil. I'm going to drive away. Or I'm going to have some sort of emotional connection with somebody. So much like Jimmy was saying earlier, like if you can establish that emotional connection quickly, and it's not something, sometimes you gotta practice at it, right? But if you can establish an emotional connection quickly with a client, then you find yourself kind of saying, hey, I could sit here and talk to you all day about the Cowboys, for example, or if I talk to you too much longer, you're gonna have to make me dinner. So hey, let me kind of go over along here, and I appreciate you taking time. But another question that I've started asking, just to the presentation or added, is I ask a very simple question. It's, how can I, after I ask, why did you fill out the form? I ask, how can I be of service to you today? And then I shut up, because like you've said it before, the people who ask the most questions win. So I'm just asking questions the whole time and basically letting them sell themselves on the fact that, hey, you know what? I did fill this out for a reason. And I'm just kind of convincing myself the entire time that I keep talking. So if you provide good education with kind of, what insurance is all about and how it can help their situation, I think it's kind of a win-win. But you're right, though. I mean, I think being of services, it trumps the actual product, and then you've got places like Chick-fil-A where they get it both right. Not only is the service exceptional, but the food is freaking amazing too. So, that's a win-win right there. But the bottom line is, nobody's going to push you out there to be a good agent. You're responsible for you. You have to do what you have to do in order to get out there and make the sales and see the people. Jimmy and Joe are not going to call you on a weekly basis or a daily basis to check on you and see what your progress is. you should be bothering them and calling their phones all the time. And just like Jimmy said, if I'm calling Jimmy, it's not to tell him about how great the weather is in Dallas. I've got a very specific question for him that I want answered. And I know that he's going to be the guy that helps me out. And if Jimmy doesn't answer, I'm calling Joe. So one of you guys is going to get back to me. And, if not, it's okay. I'm going to find a way around the situation. And I told the prospective client that I'll get back to him and let him know. But
there's been a lot of
resources.
times where, there's been a lot of times I know both you and Tende as well, is that there was no one available. And by the time I called you back, you called the carrier or you found you figured it out. You know what I mean? So just being, being resourceful.
Right.
Guys, let's,
Hey,
yes.
Joe, I don't want to get him off the phone yet. I got a couple questions.
Okay. Well, let me, we'll do this, Jimmy. Answer, why don't you do the rest of do the interview and then go ahead and then sign us off. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right,
brother.
Javier. So same question for you. How many hours a week are you putting into this?
God, that's a good question. I don't pay attention. I wake up, I get the kids up to school, and I start doing stuff. So I'm not paying attention to the hours, honestly. But when I'm not working,
hey, Jimmy, let me ask a question. How many hours are you working at your full-time job?
60 to 65.
How many?
60 to 65, give or take.
60, 60?
60 to 65.
Okay.
Awesome. Now, how many hours a day are you working Senior Solutions? You probably can't do it every day, but when you do it, how many extra hours are you doing?
Including drive time, maybe on the days I can do it, I'm try to get out there an extra 5 hours, or 4.5, 5 hours, something like that, give or take.
And you made profit, let's say in a month. What was your profit? Just ballpark.
Yeah, so last month is a good example. I think it was about around 3,000, something like that, 3,000, 4,000 profit.
3,000 profit. We'll go low. We'll say 3,000 profit. Part-time, and you're already working 60, 65 hours a week. Okay, so, and you're buying leads. So this is where I want to tie it in, right? Because I know that's a sacrifice. You have a family, you got a wife you got to answer to, you got to take care of the kids, you got your job, your employer, you got a lot of hours there, and you're still finding time to do this, and it's working. You're making part-time $3,000 a month. So I think the question that I want people to answer is it worth it to put in a lead order? Because I think a lot of the people that don't do it, they don't jump in with 2 feet, they don't put the lead order in because they don't believe that it's really going to work, right? So we know that you got the work ethic, you're working 60, 65 hours at your regular job, plus the extra time you're putting into this, and you got a family to manage, right? Is it worth it to buy the leads?
Yeah, absolutely. Joe sent that video out to everybody earlier this week about, remember the Steve Harvey video, Joe? It's just basically he's encouraging you. Hey, what?
Jump. Yep.
You got to jump. You got to jump, and it is about as it's a leap of faith. You just really have to go for it. But there is like I had a conversation with you yesterday, Joe, about hey, the averages so far this month haven't worked out for me as far as being able to write because I haven't had a lot of chance to be out there. But it's a law of averages. If you keep doing what you need to keep doing, eventually you're going to get some policies sold. And in my situation, it's a little bit different just because I can't put in as much part time as I'd like to. But when I do decide to go full time, which I'm going to do, I think if I can tell you this, if I pour 65 hours a week full time hardcore into final expense, I think I'll be doing pretty well. So it's just one of those things. You just got to jump, man. You got to go for it. And there was a Mark Twain quote. It's like the secret of getting ahead is getting started. So true.
Well, I'll say this. So many people, I've seen them come through Senior Solutions and leave. And they say, well, it didn't work. And I'll say, but you never even ordered leads. You never did the system. You know, getting contracted with us doesn't mean it didn't work. It means you didn't do the system. The system is getting on the lead orders, going out there, knocking on that person's door who mailed in the lead, and getting in front of them and doing the presentation. Michael Mahalik, who was speaking earlier, said, you know what? You know, your job is to make presentations. And if you don't have people to see, you could have the best product in the world. You can have the best pricing in the world, right? The best solutions. But if you have nobody to present to, it's all for nothing, right? And so that's the beauty of our system. You got to get on the system. So we'll end it with that, man. It works. I think you guys are doing such a great job. I commend you. It's challenging. It's a lot of work, but guys, you know, you're being rewarded. And you know, once you're ready to jump in with both feet and do it full time, you'll really explode. So with that, y'all, everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you, Joe. Good selling. Take
Thanks,
care.
Jimmy. All right. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.